Tonight, I welcome Kieran Proverbs, the former OT Crips member and Gooch gang associate, comes on tonight's podcast to talk about his violent childhood with guns and violence. Kieran slit a man's throat, and gang life was all about badge of honour. He'll talk about creating the OT Crips in 2004 and his 12-year IPP for conspiracy to murder and attempted murder, and how he has now turned his life around. This is Kieran's story.
Good evening, guys, and welcome to the official All or Nothing podcast. As you've just seen the clip there, guys, I've got Kieran Proverbs. Welcome, mate.
What's happening, bro? What's happening? Thanks for having me, man.
Absolute pleasure, Kieran, mate. Your story is so inspirational, mate. It's like, we'll tell you where we're going to start. In 2019, you were released from prison.
Yeah. And
you got put in a hostel. Take me from there, mate. What was, obviously we were talking just before off camera about time to reflect in jail. What made you decide to walk away from the gang life?
In all honesty, it's just, I just seen everything for what it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, no disrespect to anyone from my past or not, but it's just being in prison for so long, like you said, and then you just starting to see things and visits, less letters, less support and whatever else, do you know what I mean? And then you sit there and you start saying to yourself, so hold on, there was a group of people that I sacrificed my life for, put my life on the line on so many different occasions, but now when I was in a time of need, no one was anywhere to be seen, do you know what I mean? But like I say, at the same time, it's like everyone grows up. So it's like, so I'm still in the mindset of an 18-year-old. So when I'm thinking to myself, where's everyone at? I'm not thinking that when you reach like 23, 24, 25, people are getting older and having kids, and now they've got a partner, and now they've got this and bills to pay and everything else, you know what I mean? So I just seen it for what it is and just decided, you know what? No love lost, no disrespect to no one, but I'm just going to crack on and do me.
When you go back to being a teenager, Kieran, what was how did you get into gang life? Or, people say you're a product of your environment. Did you grow up around the gang life?
Yeah. Being from like South Manchester at the time, like I say it all the time, like there's been a gang problem from the late 80s all the way through to the late 2000s with two gangs at war, and they have been for years. So even from like a 5, 6, 7-year-old kid, you know what side of the field you're on. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, we would always call them the enemy. They would always call us the enemy just because of what side of the road we was born on. Do you get what I mean? So yeah, like I would say if you're on this side of the field, you're more aligned to one gang, and then the other side, you're more aligned to the other side. But growing up, like single parent households and everything else, we learn to, or we kind of adapt to idolizing our peers on the streets. Do you get what I mean? And then it just becomes something from there and spirals out of control.
Do you think growing up in a one-parent house, Kieran, do you think that was kind of that was a reason you got into gang life, not having somebody to look up to?
No, not really. It could be. I suppose it does play a part in it, because then rather than like looking up to your dad, do you know what I mean? So it's like, for me, I grew up with step parents, so I'm automatically thinking, no, do you know what I mean? So now I'm looking for that father figure. I'm looking for that family setting. Do you get what I mean? And then that's the thing with gangs. You will always find that in a gang,
Yeah. What was so when did you get introduced into the gang life, Kieran?
We being from, like I said, being from that area, you're exposed to it from early. Do you know what I mean? So you could be as young as 6, 7 years old, and if you see a car and it's acting dodgy, duck and cover. Do you know what I mean? Because if shots start ringing out, don't just stand there and freeze, or So we're kind of exposed to it from an early age, and then we then normalize it. Do you get what I'm saying? Where if I spoke to another person that didn't come from that lifestyle or background, and I start talking about, oh, when you see a shady car, duck for cover or whatever, they're going to be like, no, why am I going to do that? But from the environment we're from, a 6-7-year-old could get shot. Do you get what I mean? Not intentionally, but caught with a stray bullet.
What age were you, Kieran, when you first got hold of a strap?
First strap that I had myself, 13 years old. We had this 4-4, like a 4-4 Magnum thing. We had it. We used to, me and my other mate. It's mad because even thinking back now, we wasn't involved in no gangs at this point. We wasn't anything, but someone offered it us and then we took it. You know what I mean? So now we're doing crazy things. So being in high school, we're getting into arguments with people. And man is saying, what? Yeah, get the strap. Bringing it to school the next day to try and
really?
Scare people. Yeah, but when I think about it now, it's stupid, isn't it? It's crazy because imagine we got caught with it.
Would you say, Kieran, with the strap, do you think it was more of was it an ego thing, just wanting to be the man? Did you want to be somebody in the gang world?
Yeah, back then, no, but being in possession of a gun, yeah, that boosts anyone's ego. Do you know what I mean? It's like if I'm in a situation, I'm thinking, I'll fight anyone, but then you're looking and thinking, I'm not going to come out on top on this. But then say you've got a gun in your possession, your confidence just goes through the roof. Do you know what I mean? You go and you start stuff now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Now you're starting problems,
when you hear, especially in London, Kieran, all these young kids at 12, 13 killing people. What actually for? Is it for respect or a badge of honor?
I believe so. It's a lot of these things, even speaking from personal experience, a lot of the things that I found myself involved in, so-called beefs or whatever, I know for a fact it could have been resolved just through conversation. Do you know what I mean? But then we let pride and ego get in the way. Even the situation when I got shot. Now, as a 32-year-old man, I look and I think that was a load of rubbish. Do you get what I'm saying? But the mindset that I had at that point, I'm thinking I ain't speaking to no one. When people with death threats and whatever else, I'm just thinking, well, if you want me, come and get me, innit?
Yeah.
When in reality, could have just had that conversation and just said, you know what, bro? I didn't even do the stuff what you think I done, Do you know what I mean? Because that's a lot of it as well. Back then, you might have heard rumors, Kieran done it, or do you know what I mean? But then if I just stood there and said, you know what? It wasn't even me. I probably wouldn't have found myself in half the stuff that I was involved in.
Truthfully though, Kieran, see, as a kid, 15, 16, 17, did you actually like having a reputation?
Yeah, 100%. Back then, because then when you think to yourself, so transitioning from that 12, 13, then on to 14 and people start to know who you are, then 15, 16, and now you're rolling with older gang members. People are seeing you. Now I'm in clubs and now I'm doing this. Do you get what I'm saying? And even people saying, I seen you out the other day. I never knew you was chilling with so-and-so and so-and-so. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm rolling with now. You know what I mean? Times have changed. I'm not that kid anymore. And you know what I mean? So yeah, I believe it is. It's it's an ego boost for young people.
There's nothing better than walking in a nightclub and people offering you drinks for free because of who you are and who you're associated with.
100%. That, and that's exactly it. In hindsight, now we can look and see it's all materialistic things, but then back then, it's I could make a phone call and be like, yo, I need some dough, get half a bar of weed, or someone might give you a watch or give you a chain, or do you know what I mean? They just give you free stuff, And go on, mate.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So, like what you're saying there, kid, like when you're part of that gang life, you could get a hold of any drug just like that.
Yeah, 100%. You get hold of anything, you'll know someone that knows someone. Do you get what I mean? Like anything, you get hold of anything. Like a lot of the time now, when I'm doing these talks in schools and whatever, and the kids will say to me, "Oh, how'd you get hold of a gun? Is it the dark web?" I'm saying the dark web. No, like there's actually a criminal underworld. Do you get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's like I don't know someone in, say, Scotland, but my friend might. This guy in Scotland, something that's, done something down there, so they need to get it out of the area, ends up with us. Do you get what I mean? And it's a criminal underworld, isn't it?
See, when you were rolling with the lads and stuff, Kieran, could you always see that people were feared of you?
Yeah, 100%. Because it's like, you see now in this day and age, it's almost like everybody's got guns. Everybody's got weapons. Like, no matter what area you go to, everyone's somewhat gang affiliated, But then, back then, it's like if you go somewhere and they say like, "Oh, that's them MossSide man, that's them OT man, that's them Stretford man, that's them Longsight man," straight away people know like they're gangbangers, they're gang members, they're so and so, that's so and so. And if you don't know you personally, they're like, "Oh, that's their man from OT," or "That's their man." Do you know what I mean? And people will automatically fall back because, like I said, we've got a reputation for using guns.
Well, we're gonna go back, Kieran. When was it? You were 16-year-old when you created the Old Trafford Crips.
Yeah.
You create, and that idea. I mean, I watched on your other podcast with Sean Atwood, but the idea coming from in America with the Bloods and the Crips.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a bit about that, mate?
Yeah, because for me, obviously, growing up, 80s baby, raised in the 90s. So for me, it was like Snoop Dogg, all them. So I'm hearing this word Crip. I'm seeing him dressed a certain way. I'm seeing these things, you know what I mean? But I never really knew what was going on. Then as like I started to get older, then I started listening to Brother Lynch and a few rappers from Sacramento over there in America. And they're talking about it, but now they're talking more a violent point of view. Do you know what I mean? So now I'm listening to this thinking, I done that last night, or, and then I got on to Stanley Tucky Williams, so the co-founder of the Crips in America. Then I started studying him and I'm thinking, you know what? This guy's a legend. So now I'm thinking, you know what? So everything's changed now. Everything's changed. All my wardrobe's blue and black. I went and bought myself a blue bandana. And I was just on the street saying, yeah, look, I'm a Crip. Didn't have no name to it. Weren't no OT Crip, no nothing. I'm just saying I'm a Crip. And then I was in a car with my mate. I was in a car with my two mates. And he's on the phone to this girl. And the girl says to him, hey, oh, you Gooch man are getting about now. And he said, nah, we ain't Gooch. Then she's like, oh, what are you then? He's like, we've not thought of a name yet. Then I was in the back and I shouted, yeah, OT Crip. He's like, oh, shut up, man. Shut up, man. That's some American stuff, man. Forget all that. He was a bit older than me. So I'm saying, well, nah, I'm OT Crip anyway. Do you know what I mean? Then as time went on, so that was like 2005. Then like 2006, it started to catch on. I started spray painting everywhere. And everywhere you see me, I've got my blue bandana, my blue outfit. And do you know what I mean? So then it just caught on.
Quite unbelievable, mate. Do you think that a lot of rap music in America actually influences people to get into gang life?
Now, I wouldn't say it influences to get involved, but it kind of does expose the lifestyle. Do you get what I mean? Because like when I'm listening to certain rappers and I'm hearing what they're saying, the reason why I'm listening to them is because they're talking about what we're doing.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So we was still seen as gang members before we had the OT Crip name. Do you get what I mean? I was still riding around with known gang members, and then you just put a name to it.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So I'd say the music, it exposes you to a different kind of living, if you get what I mean. Whereas back then for us, it was either Gooch or Doddington. You know, they was the two main gangs, and then you had other splinter groups, but the two main was Gooch and Dodderton, you know. But then we decided to make our own name and do our own thing, kind of thing, yeah.
So people that aren't aware of this, the two main gangs were Doddington and Gooch. So as a young lad, Kieran, were you just affiliated with the Gooch, but you weren't actually part of it?
Yeah, like I was saying before, so it's like there's a road that separates both estates. There's two estates in MossSide. So you'd have Gooch Estate and Dodderton Estate. So Dodderton's like on the east side, and then Gooch was on like the west side of it. So anything that's born on this side would be Gooch, and anything that's born on that side would be classed as Dodderton. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
in early 90s, I lived on Gooch Estate. Then we moved to Hume and then moved to other areas. But the area where I ended up in, Old Trafford, that was, say, a Gooch-related area. Do you know what I mean?
So see these areas in Manchester, Kieran, if you're an outsider and you're caught in these areas, do you get shot?
Nah, not like that. It's not really like that. It's more, if, let's say, for example, say, I don't know, say back then I knew you and me and you were driving around, people will then automatically say, like, who's that with him? You know, and then you'll probably get targeted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But just being an outsider walking around, like, nah, you wouldn't get shot.
I mean,
it's more just association.
Yeah.
It's more just association, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I watched that on one of your previous podcasts. I seen that the movie, The Redemption.
Yeah.
Is that what flicked the switch in your mind to do what you did?
Yeah, that was it. When I seen Redemption, that's when I said, yeah, decided nobody can't tell me anything different. It's happening. I'm a Crip. I'm going out to buy a blue bandana, and I'm a Crip now. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was it. That was But you know what? It's mad because then when I think back, that film represents redemption. You know, but I wasn't taking that side of it. I was taking the gang violent side of it. You know.
See how did you get people to join the gang, Kieran? Like, did you already know the lads that you were bringing into the gang?
Yeah. Because that's what I'm saying. So it's like, as much as like we're still at this point, I'm 16.
Yeah.
So I'm on the streets. I'm hanging around with older known gang members, but I was always Kieran. Do you get what I mean? So I might get seen by the other side and be targeted, but I'm not officially Gooch. Do you get what I mean? I'm just not rolling around with them like my older brother, my older cousins, and they are Gooch. Do you get what I mean? But I was just me. I'm just a 16. I just used to love driving around, innit? My thing was driving cars and riding motorbikes. So if I've got known gang members in my car, the rules of the game, I'm affiliated. Do you know what I mean? So
it's crazy, Kieran, because I've spoke to people that, like, you get people part of the Gooch and part of the Doddington, but then you've got people from the Gooch that have got cousins that go out with someone in Doddington. It's all like a bit mixed, isn't it?
Yeah, because there's literally only a road separating both estates. You know, so think about it. If you go to the council and you're bidding for a house in MossSide, it's look at the draw which side you're going to end up on. Do you know what I mean? My grandma used to live on Dodderton. You know, so my dad and uncles and whatever else, they're more with that side, more affiliated to that side, if you get what I mean. But then, say my mum's side is more on the Gooch side, if you get what I mean. So it's mad. It's like, yeah, I've got uncles, whatever else, that was older Dodderton.
Yeah.
It's crazy because it's just literally just a road separating the two. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, when you created the OT Crips, Kieran, then the MossSide Bloods came about, didn't it?
Yeah. But that's with anything also. It's like, if we said we was the left gang, it's gonna then become the right gang. Do you get what I mean? And that was just it. So it's like, but there was loads of them. The reason why I say MossSide Bloods, because that was the one that was established. You know, like they was just as active as we was. They was just as established as we was. You know, you had a few of them. You had the OT Bloods, the Moston Crips. You had this, you had that. But MossSide Bloods are the ones that was fully established. You know what I mean? They was fully established. They was our arch rivals.
Did you have a lot of wars with them as well, Kieran?
Yeah, they was our age group, innit? So they're our actual rivals. Do you know what I mean? But they was like a younger version of Dodderton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that they was our arch rival. So when we're getting into stuff, we're getting into it with them, you know?
So how did these battles come about, Kieran? So like usually, like in the football world with the hooligans, they meet up and have a war. But how did it roll with the gangs?
It could just be as simple as I could just be sat here now, get a phone call, and it's like, yo, coming to pick you up. All right, safe. Where are we going? Tell you when we get there, jump in the car, drive through. When you start taking 2 or 3 corners, you know where you are and you know what time it is. Do you know what I mean? If someone phones me and says, coming to pick you up, bring your gloves. I know what time it is. Do you get what I'm saying? Or
yeah,
it could just be, or it could be a number of things. It could just be like something's gone on. They might have done something to someone, because then that's another thing. Like I said, you will have established gang members, but then you'll also have, say, affiliates. So say one of my younger mates might have, rolled through there and he terrorized him, took his bike off him, sent him on his way, give him a beating. They'll come back and tell us, and then we would then go and retaliate. You know, it could just be something as simple as like, mate, we've been sat there bored, got a stolen car, and just think, you know what? Yeah, let's go put in some work. And it's just as simple as that, and vice versa. Vice versa. You could just be sat hot day like this. Back in the day, a hot day like this, you know something's going to happen. You know, you might just be sat on the wall outside your friend's house. You see a shady car turn the corner. You go, what's going on here? Next thing you know, shots are ringing out. That happened to us a few times. There was this one time, it was about late 2006, because it was before I got shot. And it was literally tick for tack shootings every night. Every night. So it's like, we'll be sat there chilling. You'll see like 10 men come around the corner on bikes, all got red bandanas on. So you know what time it is, innit? If you've not got your gun on you better run. Run, shots start ringing out. Then they'll get off, go back over there. So when shooting happens in our area, all the police will come to us. So then we would then go back over there. Do you know what I mean? Because all the police are in Old Trafford, say. So that we will go over there, do what we're doing. And it was just madness. I don't know if you've seen it, but the gang task force, Excalibur, they actually went over to LA to get training from the LAPD because the gang problem was that bad for us. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
That's crazy, man. It's like, do you know what it is, Kieran? See, like when people are taking shots at you, is it about, you know what, you have to get them back. You've got to retaliate.
That's what we thought. That's what we believed. Do you know what I mean? But then if you think to yourself, that's stupid. Because if someone comes and starts shooting at us now, and then a shooting automatically happens over there, who else is it going to be?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we're doing the police's job for them, but then we'll sit there and say, oh, somebody snitched, somebody's talking. No, it's just common sense, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, we believe that automatic response is the best way, in it, because if you stay quiet for too long, you're gonna look weak. Do you know what I mean?
Did you ever find were the police ever scared to come into your state, Kieran?
Nah, not really. Because you know what? It's mad. Because as much as there was violence, there was never really violence towards the police.
Yeah.
That was the difference between like us and America. There was never really any violence towards the police. It's only like, let's say, I don't know, if you're getting chased or something and you're backed into a corner, you might brandish a gun, or, do you know what I mean? But it's never like shooting at there was a few cases in Manchester where people are shooting at the police, but a lot of the time it's to get away.
I'll tell you what, look, Kieran, that everybody all over the country, when you mention the word MossSide, it's got a massive stigma.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Straight away, people think people getting shot. That's the first thing that comes into your head.
Yeah. Because that's what it was back in the day. That was exactly what it was back in the day. It was like, I will say, in the 90s, it was bad like that. Like, people were getting shot on a daily basis. People getting murdered on a daily basis. In our day, as bad as it was, there wasn't as much murders. You know, it was more just shootings, or someone might get shot, or do you know what I mean? But back then, like, it was bad in the 90s.
One question I want to ask you, mate, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody ask you this, but do you know all the stuff that you've been through your life and all the crimes you committed and the things that you've seen, has it caused trauma later on in life?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And it's like, even down to, like, even now, as much as I've changed and everything else, it's like, them traumas are still with me. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, simple little things. Like, just now, just a minute ago, I've gone to the shop. As I'm riding up to the shop, I can see some guy in a car, and he's looking at me, but he's smiling. So I'm thinking, oh, who the hell's this now? So then I've just carried on. I've spotted him. Now I've got him in my peripheral. So I'm just looking on the phone. Then as I've gone up to, like, lock my bike up, he started driving behind me. So I'm thinking, oh, flipping hell, here we go. But then I've turned around. So I'm like, what? And then he's gone, oh, yo, I'm subscribed, man. I'm subscribed. So when he started saying that, I realized, oh, yeah, it's the new me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not the old me that you want. Then started chatting. And it turns out I knew who he was in the end. Do you know what I mean? But it's just that first initial thought where I'm thinking, oh, here we go. So it's like, I've just turned around. I've just thought, you know what? If it's that time, I've just stood there like, I'm hearing it. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know, like,
yeah, most. Go on.
You know, now you're out of that lifestyle, Kieran. In a way, in your mind, do you not feel like sometimes you're still there because you're still looking over your shoulder, you're still paranoid?
Yeah, definitely. I remember my first day out of jail, yeah? So, gone and met my missus. So was in this apartment just chilling. So now it's getting close to curfew time. So ordered a taxi. So we stood outside waiting for this taxi. But we was on like a dark street, a dark road, yeah? A car's pulled out at like a giveaway. So it stopped, and I can just see 4 bodies in the car, and they're looking at me. So I'm looking at them, yeah? I've automatically gone back in the day. So I'm saying to her, go. Do you know what I mean? But she doesn't know she's just hearing me shout, go. Do you know what I mean? So now I've started walking towards the car. Then they're all looking at me, but they're looking at me. I'm thinking they're looking at me because they've come to get me. But they're looking at me like, what's this maniac doing? Do you know what I mean? I'm saying to her, go. They're looking at me. I'm walking towards the car, and they've just drove off. But then I've said to her afterwards, I said, like, listen, you see, when I tell you to go, like, please, I'm begging you, just go in it. And then she's like, what happened? So I'm saying, nah, I thought they come to get me. Do you know what I mean? So I didn't want anything to happen to you. Do you know what I mean? But then that's because I'm trapped in 2006, 2007. But then in reality, it was just a group of guys in a car.
Do you ever, like, you know, now you're away from that life, Kieran, do you ever, like, cross paths with any of your old enemies and stuff?
I've not physically crossed paths with none of them, no. I don't think. No, I've not physically crossed paths with them. Like, spoke to one or two on, like, say, Instagram, but not cross paths with anyone, no.
Would you still say that you're a target or not?
I don't know. I doubt it. I don't think so. I think like anyone from my past, everyone's grown now. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's grown up. It's more the younger lot, the reckless lot. Do you get what I mean? But I'll say anyone from my past, I think everyone's just grown up, but you never know, innit? You can never say never.
When you're coming away from that lifestyle, do you think would you say you're still respected in the gang life, Kieran, or do you think people look down on you when you move out, when you try to get out of it?
Nah, you know what it was with me? It was more like because like as much as I've not just says I'm done with it,
Yeah.
I've come out and started telling my story on Instagram. So the problem that I faced was a lot of people didn't see my vision. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people didn't know what was going on because it's not like I came out and I said, look, I'm going to try build a platform. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm red. I just came out and started telling my story. So a lot of people didn't really understand it. And that was the issue I had. But now everyone can see what's going on. Now it's more like, oh, that's what you was doing. You know what I mean? But I would say still respected you. Still get shown love from my peers. But even now, it's like people from the other side, a few people from the other side might reach out and say, like, look, I see what you're doing. Or someone that I might have had beef with 10, 15 years ago will now be following me on Instagram. You know what I mean? And that's the reality of it. Even that guy, what I just seen then, funnily enough, that was the conversation we had because he's like, I remember you from back in the day, but you was always that guy with the screw face that nobody ever wanted to approach. But he says, now I see you on Instagram. I feel like I can approach you now. But I was just laughing. But it's like, people always say that, man. I think I just got that face in it. You know what I mean?
But do you think, like, see, when you were like in part of the gang life, especially when you were like 15, 14, 15, did you always have a chip on your shoulder? Like, were you, like, you know, when people are saying about you always having a screwed up face, were you always trying to impress?
Nah, that's just my face. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was just my thing was like because one thing I don't like bullies. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't like bullies. So you have some of my friends at the time, they might have like tried to start something because they know, one, we're not going to let you fight anyone on your own. And two, they might have an issue a lot of the time over a girl or whatever else. And then they'll say, oh, he was chilling with the enemy. So then now we're just here, our enemy. And then, do you know what I mean? But I never used to like bullying, you know?
Yeah.
But it's just, even amongst my peers on the streets, it's like, I never really used to like, my issue was rival gang members. You know what I mean? But it's like now when I hear mad stories, like a man was saying to me, oh, the first time I met you is when we was in a house party and you walked in with your gloves on and a backpack, and what was in the backpack? I said, what do you think was in the backpack? I had a sawn-off shotgun in the backpack. That was in the backpack. You know what I mean? It's just crazy things like so. But they never knew me. They never spoke to me. So looking at me, you'll think this geezer's a maniac. Like, why are you in a house party with a backpack on?
Yeah, man.
You know? Or one of my mates was performing at like a talent show, and I've gone and ran on the stage with a shotgun. Do you know what I mean? Just getting excited. You know, I was enjoying the music.
But see, when you talk about that, Kieran, like, that's just, to you, was that just normal?
Yeah. Like that. Like, you see now, but where I'm at now, because like now my little brothers tell me these stories. Oh, I seen this guy, he was saying back in the day, you ran on stage with a shotgun and you started dancing, and yeah, that was normal. Do you know what I mean? To us.
That's fucking crazy, that, man. Fucking
that is crazy,
in the rucksack.
It's mad.
But did you get a buzz from carrying a strap, Kieran?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's like it's a sense of power. Do you know what I mean? It's a sense of power. It's like nobody wants to get caught short. You know, like I've been caught short a few times, and it's not a nice feeling, like having to run away. Like, it's not a nice feeling. Do you get what I'm saying? So stay with it rather than without. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, it's like you feel safe. Do you get what I mean? Feel more safe with it.
Could you tell us the story, Kieran, about, and obviously for the viewers watching, and explain to them about why you got the 12-year IPP and what an IPP is?
An IPP basically was a life sentence. So back then you would have a mandatory life sentence. So that's like for murder. So anyone that's convicted of murder will get a mandatory life sentence. No if, buts, or maybes. Then you had an indeterminate life sentence. Now, because we was gang members, so IPP stands for indeterminate sentence for public protection. So because we were seen as a danger to the public, we have to stay in prison until we're no longer a risk to society, you know? So if I didn't get an IPP, I would have got a 24-year sentence, serve half, get straight out. But now they've put an IPP on it. So you have to do half, which is the 12 years, then go for parole. So if you're still seen as an active gang member or a danger to society, you're stuck in prison. It's a 99-year sentence. Do you know what I mean? So that's why, like, I'm on 99-year license now.
Could you tell us how you got that, Kieran?
Mate, you know what it was, mate? It's the most ridiculous thing ever. Yeah, like I said before, it's a conversation could have resolved everything, but it didn't. So basically, this was at the time when a few of the younger lot was going around and doing like aggravated burglaries. So kicking off doors and taking the car keys and then flying off in the car. Yeah. We used to do them, but we would go out of the area. Now the younger lot are seeing us, like we're driving around in high performance cars and everything else. And now they're seeing what we're doing. And then they decided to do it, but they've done it on our doorstep. They've done it in our area. So if someone's auntie's car got stolen, yeah, but we already had beef with this little firm in our area. So someone's car got stolen. Long story short, some guy got called down from Bradford. He was supposed to act as muscle for that little team, yeah. So now he's come down from Bradford and he's saying, like, basically he's got beef with me, yeah. So I kept hearing things, didn't see him, might see him in passing or whatever, just have a little standoff and then on your way. But then when that car got stolen, now he's used that as a route in. So now he's approached me and he's saying, oh, who took that car? But you see, at this time, I didn't have a clue what he was talking about. So he's like, who stole the car? Rare. So I'm saying, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? What are you asking me for? Then he's going on with himself. Oh, you think you're bad, you don't? I've heard all about you. You think you're bad, ready to. But at this point, I had a little 2.5 keyring gun round my neck. Yeah, used to have it round my neck in the summer. He's like, oh, you think you're bad, rare to. So I'm saying, listen, leave me alone, or I'm gonna blow your head off. And he's like, what? You think you're bad because you got guns? We got guns too, rare to. So I showed him the thing. I said, look, you know what? I could blow your head off now, but I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let you walk away, but if you carry on, I'm coming back for you. He starts saying what he's saying. So I said, you know what, stay there. Going to get my 4-4. Left. But I just put it down to as an argument, innit? Like, we have these all the times. I just thought, you know what, forget about it. I've gone to the youth club. I was just chilling in the youth club. Then I decided to go home. But when I've got to my mum's, I could see my mates down the road, so I've gone to see them. But when I've gone there, everyone's got the reds down and, you know, everyone's acting a bit weird. So I'm thinking, what's up with these lot? Then conversations going on. Then that geezer has phoned one of my mates and says, oh, where am I? So my mate's put me on the phone. So I've come on the phone and I'm saying to him, right, what's up? He's like, oh, you at your mum's, yeah? We're coming there now. There's 12 of us. We've got 6 guns and we're looking for you. So I'm thinking, oh, I never take anything home with me. So I'm thinking, I need to go get my thing. Do you know what I mean? So I'm saying, I'm not at my mum's. I'll meet you in Old Trafford. Gone. Went and got the thing. Went and met him. But as I was coming down the road, I can see them all. It looked like there was like 20 people there. So I'm thinking, oh, it's just me and my one pop sawn off shotty. So I'm thinking, oh, here we go. Gone there. Let one off into the crowd. Half of them dispersed. But he stayed there. So now when I was reloading is when he jumped in the back of the van. So I just shot at the side of the van and ended up shooting his cousin. And then they drove off. Do you know what I mean? And then, yeah, that was it. And then about a week later, my house got raided, but I weren't there. So I was on the run for a bit. Then handed myself in. I was on bail for about 8-9 months. Charges got dropped. But then at that point, I started feeling like Superman, innit? I started having a Superman feeling. I'm thinking, mate, what? Like, I blatantly shot a man bare face and what? No further action. Went on ID parade, didn't get picked out. So I thought, mate, this is sweet. You know what I mean? So now I'm thinking that I'm Barry Big Spuds. You know, so now I'm in the ends and I've got this invisible S on my chest. I'm thinking that I'm king of the hill. You know, then they came back for me about a year later and then locked me up, and that's when I went to jail for it.
Was he a bad man, that fella from Bradford as well, Kieran?
I don't know him, you know. I don't even know who he was. It's just he got called down to be protection for that other firm. But you know what it was? Because at this point, I was only 16, 17. So a lot of people didn't take me serious. Do you know what I mean? I used to hang around with older people. So now everyone's thinking he's not bad, but the people that he chills with are. Do you know what I mean? So now when I'm hearing this, I feel like I've got something to prove now. Do you know what I mean? And so I just think it's just a case of people not taking me serious, and then ended up doing that.
See, at that age though, see when someone was in your face like that, did you feel disrespected? Like, you know, when you never done nothing about it at the time, would you go back home and it play on your mind?
Yeah, 100%. That's what the driving force was, like that thought of you're from Bradford first and foremost.
Yeah.
You're not even from Manchester. I wouldn't even mind if you was from Manchester. You're not even from Manchester. You've come into my area and then tried to disrespect me. Are you crazy? Like, do you know what I mean? And it's that mindset there, like you said, felt disrespected and thought, nah, this guy is cheeky. Then it's like I let it go. But then you carried it on and rang me again and then said, oh, we're looking for you. Nah. This is not going to happen. Because then you think to yourself, if he gets away with that, everyone else will start doing it.
But what he's done there, he's took your niceness for weakness. Because you left it the first time, he's probably thought you were weak and then he's came back for you.
Yeah.
And then that's when you just went boom.
Yeah, because that's what a lot of like witness statements were saying, and that because then it turns out that he was saying he wanted a one-on-one with me. Yeah. So then all the people that was there that gave statements and everything else were saying, oh, because I go around the area like I'm bad, they wanted to see me get beat for a change and rare tear and all that. So basically, he wanted a fight with me. Then I've turned up with a gun and started shooting. But then in reality, he's told me there's 12 man, they've got 6 guns and they're looking for me. You know, so that's why I went and did what I done. Now, obviously, in hindsight, don't condone the stuff I done, but being in that lifestyle, it's almost like, because we don't speak to the police, you know, so it's like when they're saying to me like, oh, he wanted a fight with you, but then you went and bought a gun, you took it that step further. I'm not going to sit there and be like, hold on, no, he said, do you know what I mean? I'm just going to take whatever they're saying because I'm going no comment.
That's crazy, mate. I mean, did you ever just got lost in the moment there? It's crazy, man, because when you ended up getting sent to prison, I mean, you've done, was it 12 years you've done?
Yeah.
And did you not, in that whole time you were away, you know, when you finally got out in 2019, did you not feel institutionalized?
Yeah, 100%. Even now, till now, I still feel a bit institutionalized. You know what I mean? It's like, I'd rather just sit in my room. Do you know what I mean? Rather than going out, or, you know, my missus might say, oh, let's go to the park, or I'm like, nah, I'd rather chill. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I came out November 2019, then I came out of the hostel in February 2020. Like a month or so later, we went into lockdown. I'm watching everyone lose their mind, and everyone's like, oh, how are you holding up? I said, mate, are you being serious? I've just done this for 12 years. I said, now I've got a smart TV, I've got a smartphone, I've got a tablet, an Xbox. I'm living my life. You know what I mean? But a lot of people couldn't really see where I was coming from. Do you get what I mean? But I feel lockdown helped it a lot. You know, just like I'm not come out and like living in the fast lane. I've just broke myself in nicely. You get what I mean?
Think that 12 stretch, Kieran, turned you into a bit of a loner?
Yeah, 100%. I've learned to enjoy my own company.
Yeah.
And that, like, I think that's what makes you more powerful, because back then when 15, 16, whatever, if I sat in my house for 2 days straight, not going out, I'd start getting depressed, and then you might know somebody's no good, but because you don't want to be seen as a loner, you'll start knocking around with someone when you know this person can't really be trusted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This person hasn't got my best interests at heart. Like, I've been in situations where we're sat in a house, guns all around, police will knock on the door. So when the police knock on the door, we're running out the back door. So as I've jumped up to run off, I've actually heard a man say, "Why are you running?" to someone else, saying, "Why are you running? He's got the guns on him. What are you running for? Just chill." But I can't turn back. Like, what did you just say? Because I'm thinking the police are coming to raid the house and I've got these guns on me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then when I've left, come back and everyone's like, "Oh, yeah, what, you made it?" And it's like, yeah. But then when I went to bed that night, I was sat there thinking, he actually said that, did he? Do you know what I mean? So that's when you start to see these things. But again, you don't want to be on your own. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like a toxic relationship. You don't want to let it go, but you know it's no good.
Would you say, Kieran, that spending all that time in prison, would you say it was prison that actually brought the mental health problems on us with the traumas, because you've got that much time to yourself to overthink?
You know why it's crazy? You see, when I first went to prison, I actually had a good night's sleep.
Really?
Like, yeah, all the charges, conspiracy to murder and everything else, I just thought, you know what, forget it. I've actually had a good night's sleep, because when I was on road, my day will consist of running around the streets all day, every day, looking over your shoulder, coming in at like 3 in the morning, go sleep. You're up again at like 6, 7 in the morning to get out again just in case the police come and raid your house. And do you know what I mean? So it's like your brain's just on go mode every minute. Anytime you hear a diesel engine outside, you're ready to jump out the window. It's just crazy. So then when I first went to prison, that first night in the cell, I slept like a baby. But
no worries,
I'd say
nothing. No worries.
Nah, none at all. None at all. It's like the worst thing that can happen in jail is you'll get stabbed. Do you know what I mean? But no one's really trying to stab you to kill you. Do you know what I mean? It's more just, it's like you fight, someone might pull a knife out and the officers are going to jump in for like, you're scrapping for as long as like probably 20 seconds. If that's being generous, so as long as you can survive them 20 seconds, you're sweet, innit?
Did your gang life stigma follow you into prison, Kieran, or not?
Yeah, because when you go to, say, a jail in the northwest of England, people are going to know who you are. Do you know what I mean? So, at the first prison I went to was Castington in Cumbria. It's I think it's called HMP Northumberland now.
Yeah.
But you used to have the two prisons. You had the YOY on this side and then Accrington on the other side. That was the first jail I went to. Now, a few of my boys had been there before, so a few of them knew who he was. And a few of the enemies was in there as well. So it's almost like they've seen it already. So they've seen the Manchester gang violence. So they kind of know who you are. But then when I then went to Lancaster Farms, now almost everybody knows who I am. Do you get what I mean? Like, people I don't even know who you are. They're coming up to me saying, "Oh, do you remember that time when you done such and such?" I'm thinking, where the hell was you? Do you know what I mean? But that's the reality of it. So it's kind of like, it's almost like you're like a little ghetto celebrity. Do you know what I mean? Because like when I get arrested on the outside, people in the prison will hear that, or he's just been nicked for conspiracy to murder. He'll probably be in there soon. Do you know what I mean? So people are already waiting for you.
Even that word there, conspiracy to murder, that ringing around the prisons, mate, it's a respect thing straight away as well, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, because on young offenders, you don't really have much. Like, there's a lot of young offenders what are serving sentences for murder and whatever else, but it's like, even then, like I said, to me, we normalize it. But then when, like, say, the officers would come to me and be like, you're a crazy guy, aren't you? And I'm thinking, no, like, this ain't nothing on what my mate's been locked up for. This ain't, do you know what I mean? To me, it's normal. But they're looking at me saying, how are you so calm? Do you know what I mean? Like, on paper, you look like a maniac. But then face to face, you just calm. I'm like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
What would you say now, Kieran, would be the difference from gang life in early 2000 to gang life now in Manchester?
I'll say the gang life now, it's all over the place. So like I said before, you'd have the main gang being Gooch, and then their main gang being Dodderton. So everything after that will be like a spin-off to Gooch.
Gangs, yeah.
Yeah, so you would have OT Crip, Young Gooch, FMD, all these gangs, but they're all affiliated. So you might see me today, but then I'm with someone from FMD. I'm with someone from Young Gooch. I'm with someone, do you get what I mean? But then you might see someone from Dodderton, MossSide Blood. They're with someone from Stretford. They're with someone from Longsighton. But you see now, it's almost like all the alliances are crazy. Do you get what I mean? Whereas before, there was a bit of structure to it, but it just feel like now, it's just crazy. You don't know. Like back in the day, so I wouldn't go to certain areas, but I could go to them same areas now, and it be total mix up.
Yeah,
yeah, it's crazy. I think it's more reckless now.
You don't think everyone's just out to try? Do you not think it's like I say with ego, everyone's like competing against each other to probably commit the most crimes or the most murders and stuff?
Yeah, because a lot of the thing now, remember, we've got social media now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like back in my day, to get your name known, you either had to be crazy, or if you was a music artist, you'd have to have a hoodie with your name on the back, and then people, oh, that's so and so. But now I can put myself on social media, everyone can see who I am. Do you know what I mean? So whereas before I only had to impress my oldest, but now you have to impress the whole world. Do you get what I mean? And I think a lot of people think the only way to impress somebody is to be a gangster.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so reckless now. Like, I see Snapchats or Instagram or TikToks or whatever, someone's riding to the enemy area saying, we're going to go and do X, Y, and Z. I'm thinking, ain't the aim of the game to get away with the crime?
Yeah.
You're doing the police's job for them,
But you see some of these gang members now, Kieran, they're going on fucking live or on Facebook or Snapchat with straps, showing the face and posting it on social media.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm saying. It's a clout thing, innit? It's all for clout. So it's like, oh yeah, you see that picture of him with the gun, or do you know what I mean? Whereas back in the day, you might have a new gun and you might take a picture on your phone, do you know what I mean, to show your friends, and then the police take your phone and find the picture, and it's like, oh, look, now they found that. But now I feel people are purposely posting these pictures, like, you think the police aren't watching, you think the police can't see it, but then you'll turn around and say somebody snitched. No, you snitched on yourself, bro. But it's all for clout. It's the numbers, the likes, and the follows and everything else, isn't it?
But it's crazy because, like, you get a young kid going online on Facebook with a strap. In his head, he's like, oh, I'm going to get 10 years for this, but I don't care. I'm going to get respect.
Yeah. But then during that 10-year sentence, all them same people you think are going to respect you have moved on with their life.
Don't forget about you, man.
Yeah. I'm living proof. I lived it. I seen it firsthand.
What would you say, Kieran, is your biggest regret in life?
My biggest regret, I would say, is trying to help others before I was established myself. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, reason being, it's like I even do it till this day. So I could have a plan and I'll think, you know what? Rather than doing it on my own, let me try and help him. Or let me try and help her. Let me try, do you know what I mean? And then when people then throw it back in your face, you're the one that's then hurting. Do you get what I mean? I say, that's my biggest regret, is caring about people that didn't really care about me. You know, and that's from the gang life till now. You know, caring about people that didn't care about me.
Yeah. And with you getting out of prison, Kieran, in 2019, has that gang life stigma made it hard for you to get jobs?
Yeah. I think it took me 9-10 months. Because when I first got out on a Monday. On the Thursday, I was in a gym speaking to the owner, trying to get a personal trainer job. But what it was with his gym's more of, when you've got a client base, you just rent his space, you know? So I always kept that link with him. But then after that, now I'm thinking, where am I going to get a client base from? I've got no transition photos. I've got no reputation. Do you know what I mean? So it's hard to build up a client base. And plus, anyone that I did know wasn't too fond of, you know, hiring me as a personal trainer. Do you get what I mean? Then I was trying to get warehouse jobs and all that. But then as soon as I told them I've just come out of prison and everything else, like, no, door just shut in my face. And then lockdowns hit. So then I think I got my first job in July 2020. First job in July 2020, doing a night shift in a warehouse. Then I was doing that for a few months. Then I got this job now with St. Giles Trust, doing the mentoring for young kids and everything else. Like that was my aim from the start, innit? To start like mentoring kids. That's why I put out my first video on Instagram and all that, to try and like help the community, help this new generation. Do you know what I mean?
Mate, that's what I mean. What you're doing now is such an inspiration. And it's like, do you know when you're meeting these kids, do you know, like when you connect, do you connect with a lot of these kids straight away?
Yeah. Because you see, for me, like they say, the loudest in the room is the weakest. I'm always looking at that one kid that's just sat there quiet, taking everything in. You know, because that was me. That's the dangerous one. The one that's giving it all up, you're just all talk. Do you know what I mean? But that one that's just sat there quiet, just taking everything in, I'll start directing everything at him. I'll start doing scenario tests with them and all these type of things. Do you know what I mean? And then I'll chat to them at the end. Just let them see. And then, because you see, if like, say, your mum saying something to you, or your teacher or someone, it's hard to take it in from them, because you're thinking, you've not lived that lifestyle. I'm stood here saying to you, I've lived that lifestyle. I've been through it. I've got the scars to prove it. And I'm telling you, it's not worth it. That's when they sit there and they're like, you know what? It's true. Because everyone thinks to be someone popular, you have to be a gangster.
Yeah.
You know? I start telling them, like, look at KSI. Look at this person. Look at that person. He was never a gangster. But he's now one of the most highest paid people on YouTube.
That's 28 million a year.
Yeah, I'm saying you've got it easy. You live in a social media generation. You can get paid for sitting there playing computer. You know, you don't have to go and sell drugs. You don't have to be in a gang. You don't have to do these things. You could just be funny, naturally funny. Put things up on TikTok. Put things up on Instagram. You know, it's a lot easier for them than us, because it's their generation. They know what their peers want, innit? When we're trying to be all positive, while we're trying to be all positive, and that everyone's thinking, "Oh, you're just upset, man. Stop crying. You done your bird. Stop crying."
Yeah.
You know?
Have you ever come across any young kids, Kieran, that you thought to yourself, if we don't get a grip on this kid, he'll end up being dangerous?
Yeah, there's loads of them. There's loads of them, but you see what it is for me, especially like these now. So it's like if I'm sat in a school and I'm talking to a kid and I'm saying to them like, look, it's not worth it. Then they're just looking at me, oh, you're just another professional. Then I'll just get my phone out and be like, look, you ever heard of Sean Atwood? You ever heard of this? You ever heard of that? I done a pod, and then they're like, wow. So do you get paid for that? I'm saying you can do, yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? I was mentoring this one kid down in Avon and Somerset, and I've been speaking to him for ages. Then my Sean Atwood interview came out, and his uncle had reposted it saying, "Oh, this is a top man, this man," and rare. The young person I mentor is turned around and says, "Oh, that's my mentor." Then he shouted me, and he's like, "Yo, you've done some crazy things in your life." I'm saying, I told you I've lived it. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, no. But then when he's seen that, now he's opened up to me. So now he starts being more honest with me. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. A lot of people will just sit there and think, yeah, you done 12 years in jail. You got out. You're just saying that because the police are on your case. No, like, I've actually lived that life, bro. You know what I mean? Even his mum seen it, and his mum started contacting social workers. Social workers are ringing me, telling me how good the interview. I'm thinking, mate, this is crazy. It's mad.
If you've got one message now for the youth of today, Kieran, about the gang life, what would it be?
Gang life is also a waste of time, a waste of life, and a waste of energy. Yeah, it's just like I said, a lot of the people will go out there and think, oh, he disrespected me, I'm going to kill him. Now you've just took a son away from their mother. You've just took a child away from their parents. You've took an older brother from a younger sibling. And then on top of that, you've just wasted your whole life. You know, like you've wasted your whole life. Like, yeah, people might look at me and think, oh, yeah, he done 12 years. He's all right. But now I still have to answer for this till this day. I have to ask for permission to go to my city centre. I have to ask for permission to go and visit my dad. I have everything's, even my phone. I have to give them my phone number. Any car I get in, I have to give them the reg, make, model. All these, I can't speak to anyone in prison. You're always having to answer to somebody. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if I didn't go down that road, I'd be living free. Yeah, I'm physically free, but I'm still locked in with the system. You know, I have to speak to probation once a month. I still have to answer all the, like, it's not worth it. 5 seconds of madness. It's not. Think about it. The time it took me to ride down that road and shoot that individual and then get off again, no longer than 20 seconds. 20 seconds, that 20 seconds of madness, I'm still living that craziness today, 14, 15 years later. You know, still have to answer for it.
Well, that license that you're on, when will that run out?
I can apply to get it taken off after, like, I think it's between 5 and 10 years. So as long as you're squeaky clean, like no intel at all, you can get the supervision taken off. So all your license conditions will come off. You're still on license. So let's say, for example, 5, 10 years down the line, I get that taken off. But then I then start misbehaving or flashing up on the police's radar. They'll just put them straight back on. So I'm literally on this for the rest of my life. 99-year sentence.
If you commit a crime or even step foot back into that gang life while you're on license, you're back in prison straight away.
Yeah. I've got this thing called emergency recall procedures. So even if I get arrested now, I'll be in prison in the morning.
Really?
Yeah, and then go to court from prison. So there's anything that could be, even if, let's say, for example, I went outside and got into a scrap, I get arrested, I'm going to prison. Even if the charges get dropped, I'll still have to do my recall. Probably looking at like a year and a half. Because you have to sit the parole board again, innit? You'll have to sit parole again and go through that whole process, and it's all long.
You know what, mate? As people would say, does crime pay? Well, look what crime's done to your life now, mate.
Yeah, 100%. Like, no, it doesn't. Not at all. Like, I say this all, even like with drug dealers, you could be multi-million pound drug dealer. Not a lot of people are, but some people are. But then as soon as you get nicked with them proceeds of crime and everything else, you're getting it taken away. The first thing you're going to do is buy your mum a house, your missus a house, missus a car, this and that. You know how many people I've seen in prison that get hit by these proceeds of crime, and now your missus is having to go live with her parents because the police have took her house. Police have took her car, so she went from a 5-bedroom house with an RS3. Now she's back on the council estate with her mum. No money, no nothing. You know?
Well, Kieran, mate, listen, I just want to thank you for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you, man.
Cheers, brother. Cheers, man.
And I'm going to stay in touch with you, and we'll do something. We'll have a chat off camera. And thank you, bud.
Definitely, bro. Cheers. Nice one for having me. Thanks for having me.
My name's Decker Heggie, guys, on the official All or Nothing podcast. This is Kieran Proverbs. Good night. God bless.
Cheers.